わしが今から申し上げることは、皆様方の人生観を根底から覆してしまうかもしれません。しかし、これこそが宇宙の真実、魂の救済の鍵でございます。あえて、単刀直入に申し上げましょう。皆様方が今、身を裂かれるような思いで味わっているその苦悩も、孤独も、そしてこれから訪れるであろう未来のすべてさえも、実は一文字の狂いもなく、完璧に書き記されたシナリオ通りなのでございます。出口鬼三郎でございます。こうして皆様方と魂の対話ができますことを、宇宙の計らいに深く感謝いたします。さあ、まずはそのこわばった肩の力を抜き、眉間のシワを伸ばして、リラックスなさってください。わしの言葉を頭で分析しようとするのではなく、まるで乾いた大地に染み込む銃のように、心の奥底、魂の器で受け取っていただきたいのです。今日、わしが皆様方にどうしてもお伝えしたいこと、それは、皆様方がこの世で生きる上で最も知りたがっている、運命という名の壮大な戯曲の秘密についてでございます。皆様方は、日々の暮らしの中で、なぜ私だけがこんな目に遭うのか、なぜ人生は思い通りにいかないのかと、天を恨み、運命を呪いたくなる夜が終わりでしょう。しかし、断言させていただきます。人生とは、すべてシナリオ通りなのです。そこに偶然という名のミスプリントは一つもございません。すべては、完璧な秩序と、深遠なる意図のもとに進行している、壮大なドラマなのでございます。冒頭からすべてが決まっているなどと申しますと、皆様方はでは、私たちには自由がないのですか、操り人形のように生きろというのですかと、不安や反発を感じられるかもしれません。ですが、どうか誤解しないでいただきたい。これは、皆様方を無力な存在だと貶める話では決してございません。むしろ、その正反対、皆様方こそが、この宇宙で最も偉大な創造主であることを思い出していただくための、魂の覚醒のお話なのです。実は、この人生のシナリオを書いた脚本家こそが、他ならぬ、生まれてくる前の皆様方ご自身の魂なのです。皆様方の魂は、この地上という物質世界に降り立つ遥か以前、天界におられた時に、自らの霊的な成長と、魂が震えるような感動を味わうために、自ら筆を取り、自ら配役を指名し、自ら演出プランを練り上げた、世界に一つだけの脚本を持って生まれてこられたのです。天界におる時の魂というのは、いわば何でも叶う、苦しみのない世界におります。そこは光に満ちていますが、同時に退屈でもあります。なぜなら、努力も忍耐も必要なく、思ったことが瞬時に叶ってしまうからです。そこで、勇気ある皆様方の魂はこう決意したのです。もっと手応えのある体験がしたい。悲しみを知って喜びの深さを知りたい。別れを知って愛の尊さを知りたい。困難を乗り越えて、自分自身の魂の輝きを確認したいと。そうして皆様方は、あえて困難や葛藤というスパイスをたっぷりと盛り込んだ、波乱万丈なシナリオを書き上げたのです。よし、この人生では、40代で一度大きな挫折を味わうシナリオにしよう。そこから這い上がる時の、あの魂が燃えるような情熱を体験したいからだ。よし、この人生では、とことん人間関係に悩む配役を配置しよう。そこから人を許すという、神のごとき境地を学び取りたいからだ。そうやって、今の皆様方の人生にある悩みや苦しみは、すべて皆様方自身が、これを体験したい、これを乗り越えたい、と熱望して、自らの手で脚本に書き込んだ、魂の冒険のハイライトシーンなのでございます。しかし、この地上に生まれてくる際、私たちは一つのルールに従わねばなりません。それは自分が脚本を書いたことを忘れるというルールです。もし、最初からこれは自分が書いた劇だと分かっていたら、ハラハラドキドキできないではありませんか。結末が分かっている映画を見ても、手に汗に切ることはできません。だからこそ、神様は私たちに忘却というベールをかぶせ、本気で悩み、本気で泣き、本気で笑えるようにしてくださったのです。皆様方が今、人生に悩み苦しんでいるということ自体が、皆様方がこのルールを見事に守り、 役柄に没入している名優であるという証拠なのでございます。さて、人生がすべてシナリオ通りであるならば、私たちがなすべきことは何でしょうか。それは、脚本家や監督に文句を言って舞台の上で立ち尽くすことではありません。与えられたその役を、そのシーンを、全身全霊で、美しく、そして楽しんで演じきることでございます。わしが長年、この世の中をつぶさに観察してまいりまして、痛感しますのは、不幸な人生を送る人というのは、例外なく大婚約者であるということです。彼らは、悲しいシーンが回ってくると、私は悲しい役なんてやりたくない。楽しい役だけよこせ。とだだをこねます。困難なシーンになると、なんで私がこんな目にとふてくされて、セリフを棒読みにする。これでは、せっかくの名作脚本も台無しです。観客席で見守っている守護霊様やご先祖様たちも、そこで泣き崩れてこそ、次の復活のシーンが輝くのに、と、残念がっておられることでしょう。一方で、真に人生を謳歌し、運を味方につける名優たちは違います。彼らは、どんなに過酷な脚本が回ってこようとも、それをよし、来た。ここが私の役者魂の見せ所だ、と前向きに受け止めます。貧乏な役が回ってきたならば、よし、天下一品の心清らかでたくましい貧乏人を演じて、観客を笑わせ、勇気づけてやろうと腹をくくる。病気の役が回ってきたならば、病床にあってもなお、希望を失わず、見舞いに来る人々に逆に笑顔を与えるような、崇高な人間の尊厳を演じてみせようと志す。裏切りにあったならば、その深い悲しみを知る者だけが到達できる。海のような慈愛と許しの心を演じてみせようと決意する。そうやって、与えられたシナリオを単なる不幸として拒絶せず、魂の芸術にまで高めようとする人間には、不思議なことに、次から次へと、より輝かしく、より幸福で、より豊かなシナリオが、まるで向こうから飛び込んでくるようになるのです。これは当然のこと。監督である点は、名演技を見せる役者には、もっと良い役、もっと素晴らしいステージを用意したくなるものですからな。これこそが、世間で運が良いとか引き寄せなどと呼ばれている現象の真の正体なのでございます。皆様方にお伝えしたいのは、悪役の存在についてです。皆様方の人生には、どうしても許せない人、意地悪な人、皆様方を苦しめる人が登場することでしょう。しかし、シナリオの視点から見れば、彼らは皆様方の人生というドラマにおける完璧な配役を与えられた悪役なのです。ヒーロー映画を思い出してください。悪役が強大で、憎たらしければ憎たらしいほど、最後に勝つヒーローの輝きは増すではありませんか。それと同じです。彼らが皆様方を攻撃したり、困らせたりするその演技をしてくれるおかげで、皆様方の忍耐強さや寛容さ、あるいはそれを乗り越えていく知恵や勇気という美徳が、鮮やかに際立つ仕組みになっておるのです。いわば彼らは、皆様方という主人公の光を強調するために、あえて泥をかむり、嫌われ役をわざわざ買って出てくれた、ソウルメイトであり、名脇役なんですよ。生まれてくる前の魂の会議で、私があなたをいじめる役をやるから、あなたはそこで許しを学び、魂のステージを上げてくださいね。わかった。君がそこまで言うなら、私が憎まれ役を引き受けようと、固い約束を交わしてきた仲かもしれませんぞ。そう思えば、腹を立てるどころか、むしろ今日も素晴らしい悪役ぶりですね。おかげで私の人間としての器が試され、磨かれます。汚れ役を引き受けてくださり、誠にご苦労様ですと、心の中で拍手を送れるようになるではありませんか。これこそが、賢者の視点、人生を俯瞰する余裕というものでございます。そして、人生の後半戦を生きておられる皆様方には、特にお伝えしたいことがございます。もう年だから、これからは下り坂だなどと、勝手にシナリオを終わらせようとしてはいけません。人生という舞台に、定年はございません。肉体が老いるということもまた、シナリオの重要な展開の一つ、老いという深みのあるメイクを施し、若き日には決して演じられなかった、地味あふれる円熟した演技を見せる、 最高の章に入ったのです。若い頃のような派手なアクションシーンはなくとも、一言の重み、眼差しの優しさだけで、周囲の人々を癒し、導くことができる。それは、ベテラン俳優にしかできない、極めて高度で美しい演技なのです。最後の幕が降りるその瞬間まで、皆様方はスポットライトを浴びる主役であり続けるのです。さて、こう申し上げますと、すべてが決まっているなら、努力しても無駄なのですかという疑問が湧くことでしょう。ここが最も肝心なところです。よく聞いてくださいませ。人生のシナリオは、大筋の出来事は決まっているかもしれませんが、その場面場面をどう演じるか、その出来事にどう反応するか、そしてどんなセリフをアドリブで入れるかは、現場にいる皆様方の自由意志に完全に任されておるのです。脚本家である点は、皆様方に苦難というシチュエーションは与えますが、そこで絶望して腐るか、それとも笑顔で前を向くかまでは指定しておりません。そのリアクションこそが、役者の腕の見せ所であり、その心の選択というアドリブの積み重ねが、次のページの脚本をリアルタイムで書き換えていくのです。わしは長年、古今東西の多くの人間を見てまいりましたが、運のいい人間、幸せな人生を送る人間というのは、例外なく解釈の天才、すなわちアドリブの達人でございました。彼らは、事実は変えられなくとも、その意味付けを黄金に変える術を知っておるのです。例えば、大切なものを失うというシナリオが来たとします。凡人はそこで失ったと嘆き、悲劇のヒロインを演じ続けます。しかし、達人は違います。この喪失は、新しい何かが入ってくるためのスペースが空いたということだ。ありがとう。次は何が来るのか楽しみだ。と、即興で脚本をポジティブなものに書き換えてしまうのです。病気になれば、なんで私だけがと恨むのではなく、これは神様がくれた強制的な休暇だ。今まで走り続けてきた体をいたわり、人生を見つめ直す最高のチャンスをいただいた。よし、この療養期間を人生で一番贅沢な時間にしてやろうと捉えるのです。彼らは、どんなに暗く、シリアスなシナリオが渡されても、自分の演技力、すなわち心の持ちよう一つで、それを喜劇に変え、感動のヒューマンドラマに変えてしまう、魂の錬金術師なのでございます。逆に、不運な方というのは、どんなに恵まれたシナリオの中にいても、荒探しをしてしまいます。お金はあるけれど忙しすぎて不幸だ。家族はいるけれど理解がないから孤独だと、ないものねだりばかりをして、自らドラマを陰湿でジメジメしたものにしてしまうのです。良いですか？起きてくる事実は一つでも、解釈は無限にございます。そして、皆様方がその出来事にどういう意味を与えたか、その解釈こそが、皆様方が次に受け取る現実を決定づけるのです。不幸だと思えば、不幸な現実が続き、ありがたいと思えば、ありがたい現実が展開する。これが宇宙の法則、シナリオの自動書き換え機能なのです。ですから、わしは皆様方に心からの提案をしたいのです。今日から人生という舞台の上でもっと大胆に、もっと愉快に踊るように生きてみませんか。朝、目が覚めたら鏡の中のご自身に向かって高らかにこう宣言するのです。さあ、今日の幕が開くぞ。今日はどんなハプニングが起こる。どんな出会いが待っている。私はそのすべてを楽しみ、味わい尽くしてやるぞ。と、そして、予期せぬトラブルが起きたら、にやりと笑ってこう言うのです。おっと、ここでそういう展開できますか。脚本家である私の魂も、なかなか憎い演出をする。ならば、私はこのピンチをチャンスに変える。最高のアドリブで切り返してやろう。と、すべてを面白がるのです。不安すらも、冒険の前の武者震いとして楽しむのです。皆様方が真剣に、しかし深刻にならず、遊び心を持って人生というドラマに向き合ったとき、世界は驚くほど優しく、鮮やかにその色を変え始めます。もし今、人間関係で悩んでいるなら、相手を無理やり変えようとするのをやめてみなさい。それは、舞台の最中に共演者につかみかかり、お前の演技は気に入らん。脚本を今すぐ変えろと文句を言うようなものです。 それでは芝居が台無しです。相手を変えるのではなく、皆様方の演技を変えるのです。皆様方が相手に対して心からの笑顔で接すれば、相手の反応も必ず変わります。皆様方が批判ではなく感謝の言葉を口にすれば、相手のセリフも変わらざるを得ません。皆様方が変われば、周囲は変わらざるを得ない。それが舞台の法則であり、人間関係の鏡の法則でございます。経済的なことで悩んでいるなら、お金がないことを嘆く貧乏人の演技をやめることです。眉間にシワを寄せ、ため息をついていては、貧乏神に好かれるだけです。今はたまたま手持ちが少ないが、私は未来の大富豪である。今は成功物語の第一章。あえてどん底を味わっているシーンを演じているのだという気概で、堂々と豊かに振る舞うのです。安いお茶を飲むときも、最高級の玉露を味わうように、背筋を伸ばして丁寧に飲む。100円を使うときも、1億円の投資をするかのように、感謝を込めて大切に使う。その皆様方の内側から溢れ出る心の豊かさという演技が、現実の物質的な豊かさを引き寄せる強力な磁石となります。宇宙は、皆様方が演じている通りの現実を、忠実に再現してくれる巨大なコピー機のようなものだからです。そして何より、人生のシナリオを最高傑作にするための最強の魔法、それは感謝でございます。どんなに優れた脚本にも、底流には必ず愛が流れております。皆様方の人生のシナリオも、皆様方を深く愛する大いなる存在が、皆様方の魂を磨き、光らせるために用意した愛の結晶なのです。ですから、一見不幸に見える出来事にも、必ず隠されたギフト、神様からのメッセージがございます。この辛い経験は、私に何を教えようとしているのか、この嫌な人は、私に何を気づかせようとしているのか、と心に問いかけ、その奥にある愛に気づき、あ、これも私を成長させるための計らいだったのか、ありがたいとすべてに感謝できたとき、皆様方はシナリオのカルマから解き放たれ、真の意味で人生の創造主となれるのです。ありがとうという言葉は、天へのアンコールでございます。今のシーンは素晴らしかった。感動した。もっといいシーンを見せてくれ。という、宇宙への合図なのです。ですから、不平不満を言っているいとまがあったら、道端の石ころでも、空の青さでも、何でもいいから感謝の種を見つけて、天に向かって心の中で叫ぶのです。そうすれば、天はおう、そんなに喜んでくれるか。ならば、次はもっとすごい奇跡を用意してやろうと張り切るに決まっておるではありませんか。人生は、深刻になったら負けでございます。ユーモアを忘れてはいけません。わしを見てごらんなさい。わしの人生もまた、人から見れば波乱万丈、清方変の嵐でございました。理不尽な理由で牢獄に入れられたこともあれば、命を狙われたことも数知れません。しかしな、わしはいつだって、それを極上のエンターテイメントとして、腹の底から楽しんでまいりました。牢屋の中ですら、即興の歌を読み、看守殿を笑わせ、天下国家を論じておったのです。なぜなら、わしは確信しておったからです。どんなに深い闇も、素晴らしい夜明けを迎えるための演出に過ぎないと。そして、主役であるわしが笑っていれば、最後は必ず大団円になると、皆様方にもできます。いいえ、皆様方にしかできないのです。皆様方の人生という物語の主役は、天地が始まって以来、皆様がただ一人なのです。代役は誰もおらんのです。その尊い命、その二度と戻らない貴重な時間、くよくよと悩んで、暗い顔をしてドブに捨てるには、あまりにも惜しいではありませんか。今、この瞬間から、シナリオは書き換え可能です。いや、正確には、皆様方の解釈が変わるだけで、過去のシナリオの意味さえもオセロのように黒から白へと変わるのです。辛かった過去は、あの苦労があったからこそ今の私がいるという、武勇伝や感謝のエピソードに変わります。傷つけられた記憶は、人の痛みがわかる優しさを手に入れたという勲章に変わります。さあ、顔を上げてください。胸を張ってください。皆様方の瞳には、無限の可能性が宿っておる。皆様方の手には、 運命を切り開くペンが握られておるのです。人生はすべてシナリオ通り。どうかこの言葉を諦めの言葉としてではなく、ご自身の人生を全肯定する最強の言葉として胸に深く刻んでくださいませ。起きてくることは長い目で見ればすべて良きこと。出会う人は袖振り合う縁であっても、皆魂の死。降る雨は地を固め、草木を育み、吹く風は魂の誇りを払い、皆様方を高みへと運んでくれる。恐れることは何一つございません。皆様方のシナリオの結末は必ずハッピーエンドになると決まっておるのです。なぜなら人間の魂は旅の終わりには必ず光に帰り、大いなる愛に溶け合うようにできているからです。途中経過がどれほどハラハラドキドキしようとも、最後は面白かった。いろいろあったけれど本当にいい人生だった。生まれてきてよかった。と満面の笑みで幕を閉じることになっておるのです。それが宇宙の約束であり、絶対の法則でございます。ですから、安心して迷いなさい。安心して転びなさい。そして、その度に何度でも、豪快に笑って立ち上がりなさい。皆様方が本気で生きるとき、その姿は神々しい光を放ち、ご自身だけでなく、周りの人々をも照らす希望の灯台となるのです。どうですかな。少しは気が楽になりましたかな。腹の底からふつふつと力が湧いてきましたかな。それこそが皆様方の本来の姿、魂の輝きでございます。世間の常識や他人の評価、年齢や過去の失敗などという小さな枠組みにご自身の無限の可能性を押し込めるのはもうやめなさい。皆様方はもっと大きく、もっと自由で、もっと奔放で、もっと愛されるべき尊い存在なのです。さあ、そろそろ舞台に戻る時間でございますよ。幕はすでに上がり、最高の照明が皆様方を照らし出しております。観客席の神々や守護霊様たちが、皆様方の名演技を、今か今かと身を乗り出して待っておられますぞ。大きな声で笑い、堂々と胸を張って歩き、ご自身の人生を、誰に遠慮することなく愛し抜くのです。わしはいつでも、ここから皆様方を応援しております。皆様方が最高の笑顔で、人生という舞台を舞い踊る姿を、いつまでも見守っておりますぞ。怒れよ、恐れることなく、皆様方の人生を最高傑作にするのは、他でもない、今この瞬間の、皆様方の高らかな決意一つなのですからな。皆様方のご多幸と、いやさかを、心よりお祈り申し上げております。本日は最後までお聞きくださり、誠にありがとうございました。
You've directed the movie in step one. You've written the movie. It's fantastic. And now you want to see it playing. Not to critique it, not to find what's wrong with it and fix it, but to enjoy, to savor it.This is a question that comes up quite often. Abraham, what do you want from us? Do you want us to be deliberate creators or do you want us to be allowers? And we say, we want you to allow what you've already created, and that's what deliberate creation is. We want you to allow what you've already created. But the reason that this new conversation, and it is new, is so helpful is because for a long time, we love you so much. You've been trending. When Esther first met us, she was so excited because she said, now Abraham can keep me from falling in the potholes. They'll save me from the stuff that, and it took a while for her to realize that we're not her guardians. We're not guardian angels. That's something that humans have fashioned in their insecurity. We are cheerleaders. We're focused upon, with great clarity and precision, what she wants so that there's a steady beam so she can feel when she's on it or off of it. And that's different. What humans want is somebody to figure it out and solve their problems. That's what you say until somebody thinks they've figured it out and tries to solve their problems. And then you say, you're not the boss of me. No. Because you really want to guide yourself, you see. But when you're on the lower half of the emotional scale, You want people to save you when you're on the upper half of the emotional scale. You want people to get out of your way so you can do your thing. Yeah. So the question that comes from people is, Abraham, so am I supposed to set goals and do scripting and really think about what I want, as in writing the script and so forth? Or am I supposed to chill and relax and allow and have fun? And we say, you already did the first part, and Source Energy already did the second part. Now focus mostly on that third part. And the thing is, you never get it done. So it goes like this. Here you stand. There's stuff you don't really like so much and stuff you do like better. And this contrast helps you to define, sometimes deliberately and sometimes not deliberately, what you prefer. Boom, there it is. A vibrational point of attraction. Your inner being's focused on it right away. Law of attraction begins to respond right away because of the focus of your inner being on that subject of your desire. And the cooperative components become more and more and more and more. But you may not, in fact, usually aren't a vibrational match to all this extra money because you don't have enough. Or to the new lover because you've still got the old lover. Or to a lover because you've got no lover. Or to something in your body that you don't want instead of improvement that you do want. Because what is, we understand, is more compelling because you can see it and hear it and smell it and taste it and touch it, and others are seeing it and talking about it and reflecting it back to you, and people are trying to help you and trying to point out the thing. And so you've got all this stuff about what is, the reality that you're currently living, that is more active than you want it to be, but it's easy to understand why, isn't it? But now you start getting a handle on what deliberate creating is about. And now you care more about tending to your own point of attraction. So you think about what you want and why you want it. And you come into more alignment with what you want, and you close that gap deliberately. You do it on purpose. You feel your way into something that feels better, subject by subject. You trend on subjects that feel better to you, and you close that gap. And now you're a vibrational match to what you want. And now it manifests in your experience in very real ways. Path of least resistance leads you to someone. An inheritance happens. You win the lottery. In other words, there are all kinds of ways that it comes, but you close the gap and then the manifestation comes. But something else came. A whole new set of contrasting experiences. Because now you've got that extra $1 million and lots of questions about what to do with it. And lots of people who think you should give some of it to them. And now, even though you got what you thought you really, really wanted, you're launching all kinds of new rockets of desire. And those new rockets of desire, because you're expanding, are now being received by your vortex, and your inner being is focused upon them. And now there's another gap between you and you. And at first you're a little defensive about it. It's my ticket. I won it. I get to keep the money. Get your own ticket. Get your own money. We're just sort of channeling all of you, but as you are no longer pushing against, instead tending to your own point of attraction, you feel your way into alignment, and then you close that gap again. And now, not only are you the recipient of what you first attracted, but you're now a recipient of the new clarity that has come because you've done it again and again and again and again and again, until after a while something really wonderful happens to you. We wish this for every one of you because it is the most delicious part of being physical. When you accept your eternal incompleteness and are savoring your becoming, now you've got it. And that's really what tending to your gap is. That's how you stay in balance. That's what finding that balance is. That's why you came into this body, so that the variety, the contrast, the diversity that you are exposed to can help you to choose, to come to your own ideas and preferences and decisions and desires, because you are the creator of you and what you are about. You are the creator of the joyous expansion and continuation of you. And so it's really nice to be in an environment like planet Earth, where there is so much to be aware of and so much reason to come to your own decisions about what you prefer. All of you didn't come into this body when you made the decision to come. The larger part, eternal part, non-physical soul source, inner being part of you remains non-physically focused, but is aware of you in every moment that you are focused here in this body. And so a lot of what we talk about, because it's important to you understanding who you are, how you fit in to whatever's going on, and most important, how you feel in any moment in time. It's important that you understand that you have these two always present perspectives that play off of one another. In fact, that's what equals your emotional guidance system. The way you feel in any moment of time is about the blending, or not so much, the calibration or off-tuneness, the alignment or misalignment, the allowing or resistance to being fully who you are. And when you first got here, you were really good at that, because that part of you was so dominant because you hadn't formed so many pushing against opinions. And it's all right for you to form pushing against opinions as long as you understand that as long as you are pushing against something unwanted, you will not be resonant with your inner being, who is always advocating for what you do want. This is an attraction-based universe that we are all focused in, which means there's no exclusion, there's no pushing anything away. And when you try, you don't push it away, you become a vibrational match to it, which means you push yourself away from the whole of who you are. And that's what negative emotion is. It's you denying the fullness of you. And it's all right, you got to do that. You got to do some of it. You've got to do plenty of that to get your bearings, because how are you going to know what alignment feels like if there's not misalignments? How are you going to know when you are focused upon what you don't want if you don't ever know what it feels like to focus upon what you do want, and other way around? The contrast, just like in the lens of your camera, is necessary for the focusing of anything. Clarity is when life has caused you to ask for something, that then you're focused in a way that you're letting yourself move toward it. That's what clarity is. Confusion is the opposite. Confusion is life helps you to ask for something, but you're so busy noticing what you've currently got, which isn't what you're asking for, that you're actually moving in the opposite direction of wanted, and that's what confusion is. And so we'll talk more about your emotions as we're moving forward, but we just wanted to remind you who you are and why you're here. We want to remind you that it's supposed to be feeling good to you most of the time, not just at peak moments, not just some of the time when you're distracted from something that's been bothering you, but most of the time. It was your powerful intention to come and to explore and to enjoy and to love what you see and to choose from what you see what you really prefer, because you understood then, and many of you do now, and we really, really, really want to talk about that here today. You have a continual emitting of a vibrational signal that the law of attraction is responding to. The law of attraction that is the sorter outer of the universe. The law of attraction which is responding to the frequency of your output, which you can tell if you're aware of emotions, whether the frequency that is being responded to by the law of attraction is going to yield to you something wanted or unwanted. The better you feel, the more when it manifests, which sometimes takes a little while for the thoughts to turn to things. But once you get that output going and you're trending on it for a little while, it's not difficult at all, especially once you understand how this all works, to connect the dots between how you've been feeling and now what is manifesting in your experience. So I want to remind you, we want to bring it to the forefront of your mind. If you've been listening to us for a while, then you've heard this in lots of different ways because we never stopped explaining it to you. But today, we want to explain it to you in this very simple to understand way. You're emanating a vibration, which means you have a point of attraction. And you really do want to tend to your own point of attraction. You want to tend to it. You want to be aware of what it is, and if it's a pushing against her rather than a calibrating to her, if it's calibrating to who you are and what you've asked for, you want to know it. And if it's not, you want to know that too. You want to tend to your point of attraction because you're the only one who can. You want to tend to your point of attraction. And another thing that you really want to do, you don't know it yet, but it's going to be our never-ending, never-dying wish. We really want you to understand that you got to tend to your own point of attraction, and you want to stop giving anybody else the credit or the blame for what's coming into your experience. You want to be the tender of your own point of attraction. And so, since we've been saying that with more enthusiasm, more fervor, more consistency, Esther's been really benefiting by this new way of looking at it, because something will happen. It might come through the mail, it might come through the television, it might come through the email, it might come through conversation with someone, and she'll trip over it because it's an unwanted thing. And recently she's been catching herself so much sooner by saying, hold it. I'm letting that be the reason for my point of attraction. So matches to this are beginning to make their way to me right now. What am I a match to? What am I a match to? More important, what do I want to be a match to? What do I want to be a match to? And whether you're talking about the universe at large or your physical world at large, or whether you're talking about a person who is up close and personal to you, or even somebody you don't know that well, anything that is your object of attention has things that you want to be a match to and things that you don't want to be a match to, but you can't rely on them to honor your wishes because they all get to choose what they focus on. We know you heard that. You're getting that, yeah? So here's this pure positive energy from whence you have come. This pure energy that is love, that is knowing, that is stability and confidence, that is pure positive energy, in that no resistance that you could discern from your physical environment. In other words, it's a purity. It is a pure, non-diluted, non-contrasted, not slowed down in any way, therefore powerful vibration. This is the energy that creates worlds. And that's who that part of you is. So that larger part of you, now contemplate the law of attraction responding to that larger part of you. Oh, feel for just a moment. Try to contemplate what that means in terms of your expansion, in terms of your blessedness, in terms of your power to become. So here's this law of attraction responding to this non-physical energy of you, calling all cooperative components to your desires, not to the trouble that caused you to want it, only to the desires. So what's being summoned on your behalf to that larger part of you is all that you are asking for. The freedom and the clarity and the abundance and the wellness, everything that you are asking for is being summoned on your behalf to that larger non-physical part of you. All cooperative components gathered. Sometimes you catch a glimpse of it and you stand in amazement at the perfection and the bigness and the wholeness of what's happening on your behalf. The question that this forum wants to ask of you and answer to the degree that you can let it in: how cooperative are you in your componentness? Are you a cooperative component, or do you stand as a vibrational holdout, defending where you stand in your defiance of well-being? Of course I want more money, if I could only get more money. Everyone wants more money. Don't be stupid about that. Of course everyone wants more money. I want more money. But where is the money? Money just does not come to me. Money has not been coming to me. There is no money. And we say, that's the way you hold yourself in vibrational defiance of the money that's being called. The cooperative components are being gathered. Are you one? Not right then. It's all right. We like your eagerness of life. Oh, he's not telling you that. He's just saying be respectful of those around you. Well, you know what? You can say anything you want here in this room. And he can too. So if he tells you to be quiet, he can do that too. Isn't it nice that we are all here together? In this room, no one will throw you out. There will just be a lot of people that want to. But they will be in resistance of their own well-being. And you will be the teacher that helps them to know that you get to do what you want to do, and they get to feel about you the way they want to feel about you. But can you imagine the chaos if everyone did that? We're glad it's only you here today. And now we would like to tell you to shut up. It's all right. It's all right. So as we're playing together here today, it's our desire that we can help you to feel the pure essence of your well-being. We want you to find that feeling place that allows into your experience what you want. Esther it was a wonderful experience for her. She was standing with a group of a lot of people to board an airplane in Barcelona the other day. And she had a first-class ticket and was standing in that queue ready to get on. And the gate agent was calling for anyone who needed extra time to board. And so quite a trail of people were doing that. And so on they were going and on they were going. And the boarding had been delayed. And so everyone had been standing in the area, hundreds of people. It was a big aircraft for quite a while. And as this stream of people were boarding, there was a woman standing a few people behind Esther, and she was annoyed at all of the people who were getting on the airplane ahead of her, even though she'd paid a lot for her first-class ticket and her priority boarding. She was like you in that she was uttering it out loud. She felt the injustice of it, and she was saying out loud, really loud, like you. She was saying, why are they getting on early? I don't see a wheelchair. I don't see a crutch. I don't see a cane. I'm 75 years old, she said, and I'm not boarding early. Why is she boarding early? Well, what's wrong with that one? And Esther didn't know if there was anyone with her, but if they were with her, they weren't letting it be known. So she's spewing her discontent. It was a hurricane of discontent. And then as they're walking down the jetway, she's walking behind Esther, a few people, and she's still spewing her discontent. She's looking for someone to agree with her, and no one would even look in her direction. Esther, who often will support anyone in anything, kept moving further and further away from her because she did not want to be associated with her. And when they got on the aircraft, she was still telling anyone who would listen, which was no one. Even the flight attendants who she thought were paid to listen to her were not really listening to her. In other words, she was having a hard time. And Esther sat in her seat and thought, this is the best example I've ever seen of what Abraham is talking about, of when we are spewing this hurricane of protest and discontent, how it affects those around us in a very visual way. But this is the way the entire universe works, because when you want something but are protesting the absence of it, instead of getting what you want, you get more of the absence of what you want. It was such a good demonstration of how it all works. And then Esther thought to herself, I've thought some of those same thoughts. Sometimes I wonder, why are you getting on early? I'm just not as honest as she is. I'm just more concerned about what other people think about me, which is not necessarily a good thing, is it? Uh-oh, we stirred you up, didn't we? So, whether you're saying it out loud or whether you're just thinking it, you're emitting a vibration about it. And the vibration of protest that you emit is in the way of you letting in the very thing that you've asked for. And that's why the protest feels like negative emotion. Because when you feel negative emotion, it means that the larger part of you is summoning on your behalf something that your protest is not letting in. And it doesn't matter if it's a protest that's verbal and out loud, or if it's just a protest you're feeling. When you feel taken advantage of, or when you feel unappreciated, when you feel sorry for yourself, even if you have recent and valid evidence to feel that way, you still perpetuate a vibrational frequency that messes up, that gets in the way of, that hinders the well-being that is being summoned on your behalf. And that's what we mean by you not being a cooperative component to your own desires, to your own well-being, to the summoning that's been summoned, being continually summoned on your behalf. Do you know that when you want something, that desire is a calling, a constant calling? And if you wanted to feel good, you'd line up with it rather than stand in protest of it. And do you know what causes you to stand in protest of it? What causes you to stand in protest of it is your awareness of what is, what's already manifested, because you're always going to be in a state of asking for more. And if you've asked for more, then there's always something on the way. And if there's something on the way, then that means in terms of your physical manifestation, it hasn't arrived yet. And if you're standing in awareness of what hasn't arrived yet, then you're in the way of its arrival. You're slowing it down, and that's why you feel impatient. That's why you feel protest. That's why you feel that something's gone wrong. In fact, the very negative emotion that you feel is the strongest evidence that you have that something is coming to you that you've asked for. And at the same time, you're not letting it come. Why? Why aren't you letting it come? And the answer is because you've been not letting it come for so long. And why is that? Because you are so enamored with the manifestations that surround you, because you mistakenly think that that's who you are and that is life, or that that's all there is to life. When what is manifested is old news. Because what's active and what's becoming and what's now and what is your current point of attraction is happening over here in your vibrational reality. Your vortex is where it is. Your vortex is calling everything to that point, and you want to do everything in your power to be one of the cooperative components that gets to that point too. You don't want to be the vibrational holdout. You don't want to be the one who's so sure of how much money you've got in the bank that you don't let any more in. You're so sure of this is who you are, and this is what your plight is, and this is how it is for you. This is your life experience. You're so enamored with your life experience, and we don't mean enamored because you love every bit of it, and we get it. Because you like to see and hear and smell and taste and touch. You like these physical manifestations. And well, you should. You're out here on the leading edge of creation where all of that is visual and tangible and touchable and feelable and smellable and seeable and hearable. We get that. We like it too. But you can't be so interested in what you can do with your physical senses that you forget the most important sense of all. So when you understand that there is a vibrational reality that is really who you are, and that vibrational reality that is really who you are is working on your behalf at all times, and then you relax and try to move in the direction of that, you're going to hear a lot today about how to line up with who you really are. You're going to come to the place of really knowing who you are, of really feeling who you are, and then you're already doing it. But even more, you're going to have the delicious experience of witnessing your thoughts turning to things, your thoughts turning to the things that you've been describing. And we like that when your thoughts turn to things. We really like it. Oh, nothing is more exhilarating than to be on the brink of those manifestations, and then to be in such a conscious state of awareness that you recognize it in all of its nuances as it unfolds into your experience. Oh, there's nothing more delicious than being out on the leading edge of thought. That's why you are out on the leading edge of thought. But you want to tend to the vibrations that aren't quite on the leading edge, because if you don't tend to the vibrations that aren't quite out on the leading edge, then you never get to experience the deliberate leading edge creation. Everybody's creating, and everybody's creating in a leading edge way. It's just that a lot of people are creating a lot of things that they don't wish to create. And we call that creating by default. We call that creating by default. So today here, we want you to know, this is important. Just take a minute and take this in. Your inner being knows where you stand in your physical body in relationship to everything that you want to be. Your inner being knows that where you want to be and where you are, and knows the path of least resistance for you to get there. Better words, the path of least resistance. The path where your resistance is. The path of least resistance. The path where the least resistance of yours is. The path that you are most likely to allow yourself to find what you want in spite of yourself. And in time, you won't be in the way. So things can still work out for you even though you are in the way. But, when you get out of your own way, by no longer being so aware of what is and being more ready to, here are the operative words, get out ahead of it. And what's it? Get out ahead of what has manifested, so that you're not holding what's coming to the standards of what's already manifested. Does that make sense to you? If you're so aware of what is, and what is produced a whole lot of more that you want, but you're so aware of what is, then even though source and the law of attraction and all that is in the process of bringing about what you've asked for, you don't let it happen. At least you don't let yourself be aware of it, because you're holding yourself in a frequency where you can't see it. So what you do as a deliberate creator is that you find a way to identify, isolate, calibrate your vibrational frequencies to what you want, so that it doesn't matter what you want is dominant, and what is will give way to what you want. That's how it works.